Now to Washington, where it's official. Unable to reach a budget deal with Congress, President Obama has signed $85 billion worth of automatic, across-the-board spending cuts into law. Let's go to the White House and Major Garrett. Major, now Americans begin to find out how and when they'll start to feel the effects.
That's right, Jim. These spending cuts are slowly rippling through the federal government's day-to-day operations. The ripples will be small at first, but President Obama contends they will build over time and that it's not too late for Congress to replace them with what he calls a more balanced approach. Balance, of course, defined as adding tax revenue to the mix.
These cuts are not smart. They'll hurt our economy and cost us jobs. And Congress can turn them off at any time, as soon as both sides are willing to compromise.
But real cuts are coming, and they will arrive first at school systems near military bases and on Native American reservations, places where federal funds make up 40 to 50% of yearly budgets. That means school days will have to be dropped almost immediately.
If I'm a man or woman in uniform in Afghanistan right now, the notion that my school for my children on an Army base might be disrupted because Congress didn't act, that's an impact.
Also likely, furloughs for tens of thousands of federal workers starting in April. As for the rest, it's still unclear. The White House has been accused by fact-checkers at the Washington Post of exaggerating the speed and severity of education job losses and janitorial cuts on Capitol Hill. Aviation officials could not confirm White House claims that commercial flights will be delayed up to 90 minutes each. Sequestration, that's what we call it here in Washington, appears here to stay. But the next budget crisis, March 27th, may pass with a whimper. That's when the government has to be continued its funding to avoid a government shutdown. Both sides, Jim, have said they'll go through that in regular order and without much drama.
So, Major, in the near term, where would you expect the kind of cuts that could create the pressure that would break the stalemate?
Possibly in the defense sector, Jim. If there is public backlash in congressional districts represented by Republicans to those defense cuts, Republican unity in the House could break. There were signs of that in the Senate last week. That's something to watch going forward.
Major, thank you.